Mr. Human Honoré is the CEO of the company called Sensory AI. It's a part of the video I was trying to show you because we have a three sets of video on Greater Malwood HOA that I wanted to share with you. The first one was when we basically put it in a backyard. We were thinking about putting it in the backyard of his house, which overlooking a big part of the Greater Malwood. And then the second and the third is the actual witnessing that how the system works, because the day on Monday morning, I don't forget that day, 9 o'clock in the morning, we hadn't even set up the apps or monitoring that in any way, shape or manner, that I received a phone call, multiple phone calls from this gentleman, and I thought, what's wrong? Monday morning, 9 a.m., why is he keep calling me? So I picked up, he said, you know, the system is declaring a wildfire above your house. And I said, you're kidding me. Then we went over there, I made phone calls, we exchanged phone calls and, conversation with Gary. We found out that this is, oh, there we go.
There you go.
So this is the first one. I don't know if it has audio.
Maybe through here.
Yeah, speakers should be on.
When you plug this in, it'll deactivate the speakers because it wants to go through there. So I have to
Yeah.
split the signal somehow.
Okay. So it really doesn't matter. It just shows that we were just talking, and and we were initially very excited. But the most important part was the early detection of the controlled burn that the LA Fire Department was conducting, and immediately it picked it up, which was that was the proof of concept for me at least and him that that's what we were looking for, and we were excited, and we thought that might be a good starting point for spreading this out, throughout the region and our neighborhoods, different, gated communities, non-gated communities, and eventually Agoura, Westlake, surrounding cities. Then we have like a kind of protection. With that, I'm gonna turn it to him. Hopefully he can show his. Can you open the slides for
Which slide?
There is. If you go here. The folder, this one, this is the one.
That's it on the left?
Yeah.
Yes, I don't know what.
It just got moved a little bit. Is that good?
Does it go up and down?
You want a
Yeah,
full
with
screen,
the arrow,
right?
with the arrow, you can push it up and down. No?
Let me see here. Like that?
Yeah.
Or you wanna skip slides?
Just skip these because I don't think we have
Thank
time.
you.
How are you skipping?
I'm just trying to use the arrow here, so.
Apologize for that.
You know what, I can just cough, because I don't think this is working. Just keep going.
Tell me when to stop. Is there an arrow at the top?
Well,
here?
these should not be blank.
I don't know. Oh, I see.
So, man, why don't you
Do you
just
wanna
describe the
just start
system
talking
and the
into-
concept of having
Yes.
this there?
Yeah, so thank you everyone for your time. So we're an Orange County-based company. We were found several years ago. We were basically funded by land managers and the Orange County Fire Authority. And the objective of our company is Southern California, the most devastating fires are wind-driven fires. And that's what makes them so devastating. The closest analogy is cancer. By the time you have visible symptoms, good luck. Everything that you do, home hardening, all of this stuff is great. But if you have a 1,000-acre monster fire blowing with 40-mile-per-hour wind, there's nothing anybody can do. There's not enough water, there won't be enough fire trucks. Doesn't matter what you've done to your roof, it's gonna burn everything, which is what happened in Palisades. The only way to prevent cancer, really, is early detection. That's really, they say, that's the way these fires are. So we were founded to develop a technology for that. We worked with Orange County Fire Authority for a number of years. We worked with land managers. Irvine Ranch Conservancy actually funded us. And we developed a technology that worked very well. The reason we're here is, and we're being deployed in Orange County between Newport Beach, Laguna Beach, and Irvine. The reason we're here is Irvine Ranch Conservancy introduced us to Santa Monica Mountain Conservancy, an MRCA, after Palisades. So we are now working with MRCA. We are going to have, starting from Malibu all the way to Calabasas to Mandeville Canyon, we're gonna cover this region with our sensors. And these sensors are gonna integrate MRCA. Are you familiar with these organizations, MRCA, Santa Monica? I mean, all these mountains that you see, they manage it. The fires really, the places where these ignitions happen, all these canyons and terrains and so forth, is their land. Fire doesn't start in the middle of a city usually, because if it does, people see it. The really dangerous ones start in places where no one sees them, and it's their land. So they are basically now enabling us to put sensors in all these locations, including right behind Calabasas, and they have their own fire department. It's going to plug into them, and from their fire department, it's going to go to LA Fire and so on. And really the objective of us coming here was to create awareness that this is happening. So what Mike and Gary did, they put one of our sensors behind Gary's backyard, and it actually detected a fire very early on. So it really works. And we are also then beyond that, because we are partnering with these land managers, we're gonna enable them to we gather a lot of intelligence through the system, enabling them to do very targeted vegetation management. Because you can do whatever you want in your backyard, but again, if a fire starts in the mountain and the entire mountain is on fire, it really is largely irrelevant what you've done in your backyard. That fire is gonna burn down the whole neighborhood. So the idea is to stop it there. That's why we work with these land managers. And MRCA Santa Monica Mountain wants us, so we were in Malibu a few weeks ago, they want us to go to these events and create awareness in communities that this initiative is happening. And I have some slides to show a lot of details of how it works,
You have.
but yes, unfortunately I can't bring
But
this.
I don't know what's going on because it kind of locked me on the screen here. So I really have no idea. I'm trying to go to your email and download it again.
But it's okay, so basically go ahead, please.
Can I offer you an analogy to get past the technical difficulties?
Sure.
Everybody here has at least knowledge of a Ring doorbell.
Correct, yeah,
And it's a detection system.
correct,
You have a very sophisticated detection technology
correct,
founded in part by the Irvine, Ranch Corporation or whomever. And you have now the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancies, Mountains Recreation and Conservation Authority, because they have money
correct.
to actually put these devices in place. It would have been great to have them, before Woolsey, and it would be great to have them today because everything was grown back from Woolsey. We just had the Sandy fire.
Correct.
And we evacuated a whole pile of people once again.
Sure.
And your detection devices not only identify where the fire or the hazard is, because you can detect earthquakes, you can detect floods.
Anomaly, we call it anomaly.
It's finding the source of the problem, whether it's a landslide or it's an ignition of a fire, and you can do it just as you did with, Gary's unit for the so-called, brush clearance and, what did we call that? Control unit of LA
Correct.
County Fire,
Correct.
which a few people knew about in Calabasas, but I lived just down the street from where that ignition occurred, and I could smell the smokes before I heard anybody even talking about what the problem was, because you found it with his device.
Correct.
Why is it so difficult for people to realize that that can be done with a relatively small budget?
Correct.
And the job is to stop the fire before it becomes a headline. And that detection is something that could be done not only with your devices, but maybe you're connected to the Planet Labs satellite system as well, because they're taking a picture of Earth every day,
Correct.
the whole Earth.
Correct.
And you have a big market.
Yes. Yes. So this is.
Are you a public company yet?
No. Not yet, at least.
Well, soon I hope.
Yes. But your analogy is exactly correct. That's the idea, that many of these hazards, the key is detecting them early. And then once you have these sensors out there, the idea is that you take more advantage of this data to go pre-ignition, because we can measure soil moisture, which translates into vegetation moisture, which really indicates how quickly a fire will grow if there is ignition. We can do hazard analysis of different types of terrain, and that's why these land managers are so important, because they're the only wise people who have authority to do anything on these mountains anyway.
Why is it so difficult for the fire departments to listen to your story?
Everyone outside of the Los Angeles County Fire Department is very interested. That organization is so political and so dysfunctional at this moment that we were told by even others that don't even go talk to them right now. So I have no idea what's going on with them. They are just worried about getting sued and this and that, and they don't really do anything. I think they're waiting to see who the new mayor is. We haven't even talked to them, but like everywhere else, from Newport Beach, Laguna Beach, Orange County, whatever, they're all lining up and
What about Ventura?
I haven't even talked to them. Now the good thing is MRCA is so big, they have their own fire department. Yeah, those are the guys who manage these mountains. They have their own fire department. So our units are gonna plug into them,
Good.
and they would notify LA Fire. Now God knows how quickly LA Fire would show up or what they will do.
Sure.
But at least they would know.
Yeah.
And the other thing we could do is, there are like now private HOAs like Mandeville Canyon. They were firsthand witnessed when LA Fire, how dysfunctional they are, so they're like, forget about it, we don't even care. So they're creating an end-to-end private system. This is gonna plug into a private security system. They're like, yeah, you can tell anyone you want, but just notify us. In their case, Mandeville Canyon is a 6.5 mile cul-de-sac. So they have a severe evacuation issue, like Topanga and many places.
Yeah.
So that early notification is not just about saving their home, it's about they have to just get out.
Let me ask you a simple question. How many units would it take to cover the city boundaries? We're a 14 square mile city, and you know what the terrain is like.
You're talking about Calabasas?
How many units would we need to install in order to have a reasonable chance of communicating to all of our people? And there's 25,000 people there.
Correct. Our estimate is around anywhere between 20 to 30.
So 20 or 30 units.
To cover all of Calabasas.
Right.
What scope does each sensory AI cover?
Okay, so that depends on the terrain. That very much depends on the terrain. We can detect a fire this small from over 2 miles away. But if there's a massive mountain between it or whatever, then no. So the answer to that really depends on the terrain. Generally, the way we work is you have satellite systems, you have Alert California, there's a lot of viewshed gaps that I had in the slides that unfortunately I can't show. We fill those viewshed gaps. Those are where that's why, like what Mike showed, Palisades had full coverage of satellites and Alert California. It didn't work. By the time they saw it, it was too late.
Yeah.
And then another very important thing that I had here that I'm gonna say. So we have now partnered, UCLA has a risk institute.
Right.
The scientists that come out of that risk institute are the people who develop the risk models that the underwriters use. In fact, the graduates of that school,
Actual science.
they're actual scientists. So they have partnered with us. They are of the opinion that, for example, if we cover Calabasas with all of this stuff, and they can create these evacuation plans and risk plans and so on and so forth, and then MRCA actually comes and does targeted vegetation management, then if we take this to insurance companies, then it'll change the entire wildfire risk score model.
Yeah.
That's a long-term project because we're
That's what
changing.
needs to happen.
Yes, that's a much more fundamental way of addressing the insurance. Because what you're doing right now, it's great to do the roof and the backyard and whatever, but you're not. Again, you have a 1,000-acre fire coming down the hill. That thing is going to be a disaster. You cannot look at Palisades. So the idea is to prevent that from ever happening. Again, the closest analogy is cancer. You don't want it to metastasize. If it does.
Have you made a presentation of this technology to any of our cities, the 5 of them? Malibu, Calabasas,
So
Hidden Hills, the Glory Hills, Westlake Village.
yes. So MRCA, which is the most important player here.
Well, but they hardly talk to anybody in the
I
city.
know.
Yeah.
So down they were sending us, they actually encouraged us, that's why I'm here. They told me you need to go because everybody hates them, quite frankly.
That's
Malibu is suing them.
Yeah.
So they have now asked us to go around in these cities, that's why I'm here, and tell people that we're paying you to do this stuff. They're starting with Malibu. I was at their event a couple of weeks ago, Chamber of Commerce, they had some kind of doing a similar thing. The answer is no, we are basically just starting. So but we will go because it's their land and it's their money and they're gonna put it around here and our job is to go and notify cities that this stuff is happening. We have not formally started that. We wanna have live, so we're gonna have we're gonna start mostly in Malibu. I don't know why they wanna start behind Malibu. And then there's gonna be a couple of here behind the Hindu temple there and another one here behind Calabasas. Then we wanna go to the other side of the 101 towards Simi Valley.
Right.
There's a lot of vegetation behind Hidden Hills. There are areas that they have done no vegetation management.
Right.
It is literally like a landmine.
Yeah.
I mean, if you actually talk to fire scientists to develop these models for insurance companies, it's almost better that you don't talk to them. That's how bad the risk is. I mean, when the wind comes, that ignition, it is done. It is just Palisades again. By the way, I live in a similar place in Newport Coast. We have similar things. So it's a complicated issue. The amount of terrain that needs to be covered is massive. Some expectations from these land managers is unrealistic, but honestly, they haven't really done much either. So the idea is now to do something, but in a targeted, science-driven way. And you know, so that's the beginning of a journey. That's why I'm here, and hopefully we're going to come next time that we come here. Hopefully we're going to have multiple of these behind Calabasas.
Do you have a program that gets to some of the HOAs that are in the Calabasas to Westlake Village arena? Because they can afford to put your units, from what I understand.
Correct.
on
No, we would-
at least 10 of the sites that the city would need in Calabasas, maybe 10 to 20 units or 20 to 30 units.
Yeah.
Yes.
But there are people who, right now, with whatever money they can save on their insurance policy might be a contributor to installing the system and doing it on our own, which
Yeah,
is kind of
so that's why we're here, to talk to HOAs, and I mean, we couldn't even find the contact information of other HOAs, even they couldn't find the contact information, but if we can, sure.
Well, you should come to our next meeting, because we need to have one.
Your system is, because they said they check on they knew with your system that it was it. Well, so there's an app on the phone, people can get
Yes,
it?
it's a cloud-based system, you can see it on your phone, on your iPad, on your laptop, and whatever. We can even send text messages, we can
Okay.
all of a sudden send emails, everything.
Okay, I imagine it is infrared technique, right?
It has 4 or 5 different sensors.
Okay,
There's a smoke sensor, infrared, there's a multiple things.
okay, and then does it detect, not detect, but could it be combined with the wind direction?
Yes, we actually have a meteorological station version of that as well. So-
Okay, that's what is much more useful, because there is
Yes.
fire.
You can't bring up
Yes.
the pictures.
Right.
Yes, and then the other thing we can do, we can integrate with roof sprinkler systems, we can integrate with
That's
drones
what I told
that pour water. We actually did that. We actually built a system where this thing detected a fire and instantly communicated to a drone, and the drone went and put stuff and put the fire out with no human involvement.
That's the good system.
Can you give us the costs and maintenance on things like this?
Yeah, so we manage all of that. There's a lease model for the equipment. And then we would manage all of the installation and the ongoing maintenance.
And prices with the lease?
You're asking me what the price is?
Yeah, just
Yes.
ideas.
Yeah, so in low volume, like if you wanna put 1 or 2, each of these units is $10,000 a year. That's the lease. But if you wanna put 50 for the city, obviously it'll be cheaper, because then there's a lot of saved benefits, right, for maintenance and even hardware and stuff, the cost goes down.
I'm sure that you're developing new elements of the technology all the time.
Correct.
And it seems to me that if you're offering a lease program to get started, why is there any resistance at all?
That's a good question. We get into, sometimes it's budget, like my experience is cities never have money. It's almost useless to talk to actual cities, to be honest with you.
Well, we just passed a tax measure where we're gonna get $3 million to $5 million additional in the city. And that doesn't mean we can't at least consider the option, given all the attention that everyone here and everyone who isn't here has to pay to this problem that we're facing.
Right.
And we haven't even started to talk about evacuation.
Correct.
You know, there's 6,000 students in the schools on Mulholland Highway from Mulholland Drive to the top of the hill in Calabasas. and all of the parents that would wanna go and rescue those kids, and they all have guns, you think anybody's gonna stop, you know, that kind of a panic move and everything gets gridlocked?
It's
Detection is the
gridlocked,
answer.
it's gridlocked at the end of the day when
No,
everybody
detection
pick
is
their
the issue.
children up and stop.
Detection is what, whether you do it from space, or you do it from a tower, or you do it with Ring doorbells.
evacuation now?
I'm talking all of it, cause
All of it.
it's all of
Because
it.
the earlier detection gives you more time for evacuation, gives you more time for suppression. That time is the problem is when you have these wind-driven fires, you don't have time. And that creates all the problems. The more time it gives you, so when we started working with Orange County Fire, they told us even single-digit minutes, because these fires, again,
Everything we discussed tonight should be done.
There you go.
So are you working with UCLA students now?
it's not students, it's professors. We're working with multiple UCLA organizations.
I went there.
The Risk Institute,
Scientists.
these are the insurance guys, and we also have people here who work on developing the technology. But the Risk Institute is our real partner, and we're working on large-scale grants for some other, because we're working on, like the city of Laguna Beach. In all of America, there are 2 coastal cities with the highest wildfire risk are Malibu and Laguna Beach.
Sure.
So Laguna Beach, we're working on a citywide coverage.
So
Like
they're
what
gonna
we
be the
call-
first.
For the entire city.
How many units are installed there?
Well, right now, it's only 1, but we wanna put 50, and they can't afford it. So we're talking, there's a CAL FIRE grant that we're pursuing along with these guys, to come from the state. And the idea is to prove that after doing everything we talked about, we substantially reduce the risk profile for the entire city. They also have like fair plan, everything that you discussed, they have the same disaster, like there's hills and stuff around.
Yeah.
So anyway, but this is what I wanted to show, this is simulations that were done. This is not even under like 15 mile per hour wind, it's not even that bad. Look at how quickly the fire grows. This is why single digit minutes, they say, make a difference.
Wow.
I mean, this is like exactly like cancer, this is exponential growth. That's the source of the problem, the source of all of our problems that results in evacuation, nobody can stop it, there's not enough water, blah, blah, blah. Because it grows so fast. By the time people react, there's nothing you can do.
So early detection is really helpful.
It is.
Yeah.
Again, closest analogy is cancer. Why do you do colonoscopy? Why do you do mammography? Because you want to see it before you have visible symptoms. By
Exactly.
the time you're coughing blood, forget it. This is the same thing. This is really the same thing. So, I'm gonna skip some of these. And then this is what the system looks like. So we have a network of sensors. Our sensors can be completely fixed, it can be portable, it can be embedded in drones. So we have a very light footprint. In the back end, it can communicate via cellular or Starlink if there's in places where there is no cellular coverage. So the idea is it provides instant notification. These units, they don't need power, they don't need wireless, you can put it anywhere. So the idea is they are located where the risk is.
How does it work? Like if there is no power?
Cellular.
Solar.
Solar power.
Solar and battery
Solar.
power,
Solar
they're
and battery.
independent units.
Yeah. And
We have them all over the city, Calabasas right now, just checking on people's license plates, come on. So, I'm serious, that's what's going on.
And then these things create their own, this is like a disaster response network. This network itself is not reliant on cellular, it never falls apart, so in the middle of a fire, if nothing else works. So for example, Mandeville Canyon actually wants to use our network as their disaster network. Because cellular can go down and whatever, and this thing can communicate via Starlink. So it'll never.
The small one nowadays is individual, so you can put it on the top of your roof.
Yeah, it's this big.
Okay, so
You can even
what
port
is
it.
the cost for the individual? And
We
it's
don't
gonna
have
be separate
separate
system.
costs, the cost that I mentioned for you is this. We
Yes.
don't have a model right now where you can sell this like to an individual house.
Because it's useful for my system. I can
Yes.
put it in with my
Yeah.
system. Is there.
We actually have now the real estate people. They wanna add this to the house and connect it to a roof sprinkler system.
That's
Similar to
exactly-
the ring analogy, like make it much more personal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good idea.
I'm so sorry, but they're
Yeah.
signaling me from outside
I'm
of your.
I'm gonna add
Okay.
one thing that's fascinating that Human probably doesn't want me to mention, but there's a way to hook this up, and Los Virgenes has agreed to this. At our reservoir, we can store drones, and when they pick up this signal, they will suck the water right out of the reservoir and drop it on the fire when it's still only at that 3-foot range. The fire department's not happy about that, they think that they won't have a job, but we need them to come afterwards. And even if we notify them, it still depends on the speed that LAFD responds. And recently, they've been pretty good. That Sandy fire, they were up on it very, very fast. And also the recent one that just happened at Mulholland Highway and Las Virgenes. If it had been a windy day, that would have been a very, very dangerous fire for all of
That
us.
was the Jasper fire. I
Jasper
love
fire,
that.
right.
Great
Yeah,
name.
so we can integrate with any of these systems. So for
Yeah.
example, a homeowner can have a roof sprinkler system. When they see our system, we tell them, boom, turn it on. It might be in Cabo, wherever.
My
So
goal is
this
to
can be
get,
fully automated.
my goal is to get the water department, the water district to be part of this. We've got the water, we just have to get it all coordinated, but it'll probably take a couple of years, but I thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.